Hi kids, this is Chapter 9, Lesson 3. Today you're going to learn about how to find the area of a trapezoid. The first thing I want to talk about is, I know we looked at trapezoids in the lab, but what is the official meaning of a trapezoid? Here it is. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral, so that means a four-sided polygon, quad meaning four. A quadrilateral with only one pair of parallel sides. So let's look at this a little closer. First of all, trapezoid. These are all trapezoids. They're examples of trapezoids. And the key part in this definition is this. Only one pair of parallel sides. Okay, so that means a polygon has has two pairs of opposite sides parallel. A quadrilateral only has one. So that word, this would be with two pair of parallel sides if it were a parallelogram. Trapezoid, only one pair of parallel sides. So this side, parallel to this side, but these are not parallel. This side is parallel to this side, but these are not parallel. And on the last trapezoid, that side is parallel to this side. So as you can see, there's trapezoid only has one pair of parallel sides, where a parallelogram has two pairs of parallel sides. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is look at the area of a trapezoid. Okay, now, just like a triangle, there's a similarity between triangles and trapezoids. You can take you could take a triangle, copy it, and make a parallelogram. We saw that in the last lesson. You can take a trapezoid, copy it, and rearrange it and make a parallelogram. Just like we did with a triangle, you can do the exact same thing with a trapezoid. And we know how to find the area of a parallelogram. That was lesson 1. Area of a parallelogram is base times height. So we are going to use that idea when we find area of a trapezoid. So, what I'd like you to do is draw a base line that is 5 blocks long, 5 squares. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the bottom of my trapezoid. And then I'd like you to go from starting at that corner, go up to, over 1, so right there. And then draw a line that is exactly 2 squares long. So those two sides are parallel. And I'm going to use my ruler to connect the sides. So there is my trapezoid. It has only one pair of parallel sides. Those are parallel, but these sides are not parallel. Now there's going to be lots of color coding on this. First thing I'm going to color is trapezoid itself. So we've got a yellow trapezoid. And I'm going to color code this line blue, that base, and I'm going to make this the top base purple. I know that doesn't look very purple, but it is. Now imagine that I copied that exact trapezoid. I copy it, and I rotate it, and I slide it back in. So it would come out this purple base would come down here. This blue base would come up here. And that's what if I made 2 parallelograms and rotated one around, if I copied this one, so This base, again, that's 2 units, is going to be 2 units right here. And I'll add the purple on there in just a minute. This blue base on the bottom would come up here, so it's now 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then using my ruler, I'm going to connect those. And I'm going to shade in this. So now I've got my original yellow trapezoid. I've got a copy of it that I will make green. Okay, so this is the exact same trapezoid, and I think you can see that. They're exactly identical, and this blue line, or this blue base that was 5 units, it's now on my second trapezoid, that line, and this base that was 2 units is now that line, 2 units. But now we have a parallelogram. Those are parallel, and these are parallel. Now we've got 2 pairs of parallel sides. And again, what we did is we took this trapezoid, we copied it into the green one, rotated it, fit it together there, and made a perfect parallelogram. So now, let's start labeling a couple more things. Here's the bird. Bird lands on this corner, and we know what birds do. They poop. So the poop line for this trapezoid is right there. That is the height. Okay, so the height is exactly 2 squares. Let me use the bigger marker. It's easier to see. So the height equals 2. There's my height. And now what I'm going to look at is I'm going to find the area of the whole parallelogram, because I know how to find area of a parallelogram. It's base times height. Now, the base of this entire parallelogram is this pink line. Okay? So, area of a parallelogram is base times height. In this parallelogram, my base would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. My height is 2. But I'm going to look a little more closely at how I would get this pink line. It is really this base plus this base. It's the blue line plus the purple line. This blue line and the purple put together. If you look real close, you can see that. So the area of a trapezoid is the area of this parallelogram cut in half. I only want half of this area. I want the yellow. I don't want the green. But I'm finding the area of an entire parallelogram and chopping it in half. That will give me the area of the trapezoid. So the formula for area of a trapezoid, actually I'm going to give it to you 2 different ways. Area equals 1/2 times the height, because that's part of area of a parallelogram, height, and then the base. But how do I get this pink line? This, in parentheses, is going to be this pink line, but how I get that is base number 1 plus base number 2. I put them together. Base 1 plus base 2. This is base 1 up here, the purple line, that's 2, and base 1, or I'm sorry, base number 1 is, no, I did that backwards. This is base 1, this is base 2. So base 2 is the blue line, and that is 5. So area of a parallelogram is right here. Area of a trapezoid. I'm confusing myself. Area of a trapezoid is this formula. It is really area of a parallelogram, because that's the height, and this is the base, the pink line, and then I want half of that, because I only want the yellow. So this is one way that you will see the formula for area of a parallelogram. But I'm going to give it to you another way, and just like with a triangle, this second formula, most kids like the second formula better. It is base number 1 plus base number 2 put together. That makes the base of the parallelogram. So base 1 plus base 2 put together times the height, the poop line. So this right here is the area of the entire parallelogram. There's the base, pink line, times the height. And I'm going to divide all of this by 2 because I only want the yellow. All right, I know that that was a lot, but here are the two formulas for area of a trapezoid. They are interchangeable. You can use either one you like. Okay, those are the formulas we're going to be using today. Most sixth graders like the look of that one better. Now let's plug in the numbers from this parallelogram into this formula. Okay, so that would look like this. 1/2, that doesn't change. The height is 2, so I'm going to put a 2 right here. Parentheses. Base 1 is 2 plus base 2, which is 5. When I solve this using order of operations, and I'm going to put this in parentheses just to indicate that these are being multiplied. Well, I'm going to do this first inside this parenthesis, so my next line would look like this. I added 2 plus 5 to make 7. 2 times 7 is 14. And 1/2 times 14 is 7. This would be 14 over 2. And that is 7 units squared. So the area of this parallelogram, or this trapezoid, this yellow trapezoid, the area of that is 7 units squared. Okay, let's plug the same numbers into this. Base number 1 is 2, base number 2 is 5. So my next line on this would look like this. 2 plus 5. All I'm doing is looking at my figure and substituting base 1 and base 2 numbers. That's 2 and 5. The height is 2. Inside the parentheses, we do that first. This is 7. 7 times 2 makes 14. We get 14 over 2. So we get the same answer, 7 units squared. Again, interchangeable. Most kids like this one a little better. In fact, I'll put a little star right here indicating that's the one that most kids like the best. And I also forgot, this is our third note page of the chapter. Okay, now it is time for the hidden treasure. Hidden treasure, which I forgot lesson 1 and 2. I'm sorry about that. But today's hidden treasure is be able to explain what the least common multiple is of two numbers. And I'll even give you an example. What is the least common multiple of 12 and 8? Again, explain least common multiple, and you can use the example, what is the least common multiple of 12 and 8? How do you find that? All right, so a lot of your practice problems give you a trapezoid and ask you to find the area. So you would either use this formula or this formula, plug in the amounts, base 1, base 2, and the height, and solve it. You're also going to solve some problems that say this. Find the missing height. it's going to give you a trapezoid and you don't know the height. Okay, let's take a look at what those look like. So I'm going to give you directions to make a trapezoid. So the top of the trapezoid is going to be 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. I am going to go from this corner, I'm going to go down 3 and over 1. I'm going to put a point right there. So from this corner, down 3 over 1. And the base 2 is going to be 6 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to use my ruler and connect those corners. Connect, and connect, and there's my new trapezoid. Bird lands right here. We know what birds do. They poop all the time. There's the poop line. I don't know what this poop line is. Okay, this problem is find the missing height. I know what that is. I know that base 1 is 3 centimeters. And I know that base 2 is 6 centimeters. And this time I know that the area of the trapezoid is this. The area of the trapezoid is 13.5 centimeters squared. So this time I know the base 1, and I'll highlight these. We know base 1 is 3 centimeters. We know that base 2 is 6 centimeters. And we know the area of this trapezoid. The area is 13.5 centimeters squared. All right, new formula to find the missing height. This is the formula that you're going to use. You're going to use height equals 2 times the area. So I'm going to write that as 2a over base 1 plus base 2. Okay, once we've got that, here's the formula you're using. You plug in the amounts that you know and solve it. So, formula, height of a trapezoid is 2 times the area divided by base 1 plus base 2. Let's plug in the numbers. The area is 13.5, so this is going to be 2 times 13.5. 2 times 13.5 over base 1 is 3 plus base 2 is 6. Use your calculator here. 13.5 times 2 makes 27 over 3 plus 6 is 9. 27 over 9 simplifies to, how many 9s go into 27? Your answer is, your height is 3 centimeters. Okay, so 2 kinds of practice today. You're going to be finding the area of a trapezoid. That's this section right here, using either this formula or this formula. And I'm going to separate, let me get a marker here and kind of separate this into sections, because it's kind of, this is a busy looking page. This looks very complicated. But rewatch it if you need to. So we've got meaning of a trapezoid, area of a trapezoid, and then right here I'm going to draw another separator. Find the missing height. Area of a trapezoid, find the missing height of a trapezoid. These are the 2 types of problems that you're doing today. So your work should look like this, if it's find the area, or if it's find the missing height, you're going to be using this formula, and your work would look like that. Okay, that wraps up Chapter 9, Lesson 3. I will see you again soon for Lesson 4.